The plague ship. The distress signal. Captain Maria Santos stood on the bridge of the ESS Horizon, staring at the distress signal that had appeared on their sensors 3 hours ago. The message was simple, desperate, and exactly what the Galactic Council's humanitarian protocols demanded they respond to. Please help. Plague aboard. Population dying. Need medical assistance. Coordinates attached. The transmission came from a Velic transport ship, one of the species humanity had recently established diplomatic relations with. The Velic were insectoid beings, tall and elegant, with compound eyes that reflected light in rainbow patterns. They'd always been friendly, if distant, in their dealings with humans. It's genuine, Lieutenant Chin confirmed, reviewing the authentication codes. The ship is registered to the Velic Merchant Guild. Transponder matches their records. No signs of deception. Maria nodded slowly. Something about this felt wrong, but she couldn't identify what. Medical status? Dr. James Morrison appeared on the comm screen, his gray beard neatly trimmed, his expression grave. From what little data they've transmitted, it looks like hemorrhagic fever. Nasty stuff. Mortality rate near 80% without treatment. But. He hesitated. But what, doctor? The transmission quality is too good. If they're really in crisis, if their crew is dying, their systems should be degrading. Power fluctuations, maintenance issues. This signal is crystal clear. Maria's instinct screamed warning. She'd been in space for 20 years, first as a merchant captain, then military. She'd learned to trust those instincts. Tactical assessment, Mr. Reeves? Commander David Reeves pulled up the sector map. We're the only ship within range. The Velic vessel is stationary, no engine activity. No weapon signatures detected. But. He zoomed in on the surrounding space. There's a lot of debris in this sector. Old battlefield from the Krel Wars, 50 years ago. Plenty of places to hide. You think it's a trap? I think it's convenient, Reeves said carefully. A distress call that only we can answer, in a sector full of hiding places, from a species we've just started trusting. Maria made her decision. Battle stations. Shields up. We approach slow and careful. Dr. Morrison, prepare a medical team but keep them in quarantine-ready gear. Full biohazard protocols. You think the plague is real? Chen asked. I think something is real, Maria said. Whether it's what they're telling us remains to be seen. The approach. The Velic ship, named Peaceful Crossing, drifted in the void like a dead thing. Its hull showed signs of damage, scorch marks, a few breaches that had been sealed with emergency patches. It looked exactly like a plague ship should look, desperate, barely functioning, on the edge of death. Too perfect, Maria thought. Scanning for life signs, Chen reported. Reading approximately 200 Velic aboard. That's crew complement for a transport this size. Thermal signatures consistent with a population under medical distress. Lower body temperatures, irregular patterns. Weapons? Maria asked. None detected. Their defensive systems are offline. Everything checked out. Every scan confirmed the story. But Maria's gut still screamed danger. Maintain distance. Hail them. The comm screen flickered to life, showing a Velic captain slumped in his command chair. His carapace was dull, his compound eyes clouded. When he spoke, his voice was weak, barely audible. Thank the stars. Human ship. We need medical aid. The plague, it burns through us. Half the crew is already dead. The others. He coughed, a disturbing clicking sound. Please. Help us. What caused the outbreak? Dr. Morrison asked, his medical training overriding caution. Contaminated cargo. We didn't know. By the time we realized. The Velic captain's eyes seemed to focus on something off-screen. Please. My daughter is aboard. She's only 3 cycles old. Please don't let her die. Maria saw Morrison's expression soften. The mention of a child was calculated to tug at human emotions. But was it manipulation or genuine desperation? We're preparing a medical team, Maria said carefully. But we need to follow quarantine protocols. We'll send over supplies, equipment, medical staff in full containment gear. No time, the Velek captain said urgently. The plague spreads too fast. We need full medical facilities. Can you take survivors aboard? Your sickbay, it would save them. There it was. The request to lower their defenses, to bring potential threats aboard the horizon. Negative, Maria said firmly. We'll send our team to you. Dr. Morrison is one of the best xenobiologists in the fleet. He'll help your people, I promise. The Velek captain's demeanor changed. Just for a second, his weakness vanished, replaced by something harder. Then it was gone, so quickly Maria almost thought she'd imagined it. Thank you, he said, slumping again. Thank you. The transmission ended. Did anyone else see that? Maria asked. The change in his posture? Reeves nodded. I saw it. He dropped character for just a moment. It's a trap, Maria said with certainty. But what kind? If we send a medical team, they're vulnerable. But if we don't, and this is genuine, we're letting innocents die. Dr. Morrison spoke up from the medical bay. Captain, I have an idea. It's unorthodox, but it might give us the truth. I'm listening. The test. 20 minutes later, a medical shuttle left the Horizon's bay, heading toward the peaceful crossing. Aboard were Dr. Morrison, 3 medical technicians, and enough equipment to set up a field hospital. All wore full biohazard suits. All carried hidden weapons. But that wasn't the unorthodox part. Shuttle away, Chin reported. Maintaining comm link. Maria watched the shuttle cross the distance between ships. Doctor, you're certain about this? Morrison's voice came back, tinny through the comm. Captain, I've been studying Velek physiology for years. What I'm about to do will either confirm they're sick or prove they're lying. Either way, we'll know. The shuttle docked with the Velek ship. The medical team waited in the airlock while the pressure equalized. When the inner door opened, they were greeted by 2 Velek crew members, both looking desperately ill. Thank you for coming, one wheezed. Our people are dying. Please, this way. Morrison stepped forward, his scanner in hand. I need to examine you first. Quarantine protocols. The Velek hesitated. The others are worse. Please. Doctor's orders, Morrison said firmly. He raised his scanner and began taking readings. On the Horizon's bridge, Maria watched the data stream in. What are we seeing, Doctor? Morrison's voice was grim. Exactly what I expected. Captain, I'm detecting elevated adrenaline, increased heart rate, and full oxygenation. These Velek aren't sick. They're nervous. Preparing for combat. Weapons free, Maria snapped. All hands to battle stations. On the Velek ship, Morrison's team already had their weapons drawn. The 2 sick Velek froze, realizing they'd been caught. Clever, Morrison said coldly. Hemorrhagic fever would cause low blood pressure, organ stress, reduced oxygen capacity. You're showing the exact opposite. You're healthy warriors pretending to be plague victims. The deception shattered. Behind the 2 Velek, a door slammed open and armed soldiers poured out. But Morrison's team was already retreating, sealing the airlock behind them. Shuttle, get out now. Maria ordered. Space erupted with violence. Ships decloaked around the peaceful crossing, Velek warships, dozens of them, hidden in the debris field exactly as Reeves had predicted. They'd been waiting for the Horizon to lower its shields, to bring refugees aboard, to create chaos from within. Instead, they faced a human ship at full combat readiness. They wanted to capture us, Maria said, understanding flooding through her. Not destroy us. They wanted our ship intact, our crew as prisoners. That's why the plague story, to make us drop our guard. Orders, Captain? Reeves asked, hands hovering over weapons controls. Maria's expression hardened. The Velek had pretended to need help, had weaponized human compassion, had used the image of a dying child to manipulate them. They'd tried to turn humanity's best instincts into a weakness. Show them why that was a mistake, Maria said quietly. Communications, patch me through to the Velek fleet. All channels. When the channel opened, Maria's voice carried cold fury. To the Velek fleet. You pretended to need rescue. You weaponized mercy. You made us think children were dying. She paused, letting the weight of those words sink in. We call mercy a virtue. But when you abuse it, when you turn it into a weapon, you don't get mercy back. You get war. All ships, weapons free. Show them what humans do to those who prey on compassion. The Horizon's weapons blazed to life, and the trap the Velek had set became their tomb, the price of deception. The battle. The first Velek warship died before its crew realized they'd been detected. The Horizon's railguns punched through its shields like they weren't there, the depleted uranium slugs tearing through the hull and detonating the reactor. The explosion lit up space like a newborn star. Threat assessment, Maria barked. 12 warships total, Reese reported, his fingers dancing across the tactical display. Cruiser class, armed with plasma batteries and missile pods. They're breaking formation, trying to surround us. Don't let them. Maria's voice was ice. Pattern Delta 7. Make them regret every choice that brought them here. The Horizon spun, her engines burning hot as she dove toward the nearest cluster of Velek ships. It looked like a suicide run, and the aliens reacted exactly as expected. They tightened their formation, concentrating fire to destroy the audacious human vessel. Exactly what Maria wanted. Now, Mr. Reeves. The Horizon's hull split open along hidden seams. Dozens of missile pods deployed, each one locked onto a different target. The salvo launched in a single devastating wave. Velek ships scattered, their pilots suddenly realizing they'd been baited into a killing zone. But it was too late. The missiles were equipped with human-designed AI hunters, capable of tracking prey through evasive maneuvers and following targets through debris fields. One by one, they found their marks. A Velek cruiser took 3 hits to its engine section, the detonations ripping its drive apart. The ship spun wildly, slamming into a companion vessel. Both exploded. Another tried to run, burning its engines to maximum. A missile caught it from behind, punching through the thinly armored engine cowling and detonating inside the drive core. The ship came apart in sections, crew compartments tumbling through space, leaking atmosphere. 8 ships remaining, Chin reported. They're attempting to regroup. Jam their communications, Maria ordered. I want them isolated, confused, fighting blind. The Horizon's electronic warfare suite came alive, flooding every Velek channel with noise. The alien ships, suddenly unable to coordinate, hesitated. That hesitation killed them. The Horizon pressed her advantage, her weapons systems designed by engineers who'd studied every space battle in human history and learned from them all. Railguns fired in staggered patterns, creating kill zones that enemy ships couldn't avoid. Laser batteries painted targets for the missiles. Point defense systems swatted aside enemy fire like flies. Captain, Dr. Morrison's voice came from the medical bay. I'm picking up escape pods launching from the peaceful crossing. Ignore them, Maria said coldly. They pretended to be sick. They weaponized suffering. They don't get rescue now. Captain. Those are orders, Doctor. Maria's voice softened slightly. I know it's hard. But they made this choice when they decided to fake a plague outbreak. Morrison was silent for a long moment. Then, understood, Captain. The message. The battle lasted 18 minutes. When it ended, 12 Velek warships were debris clouds, and the peaceful crossing drifted alone, her engines destroyed, her weapons silent. Maria opened a channel to the transport. Velek Captain. Are you receiving? The alien's face appeared on screen. Gone was any pretense of illness. He looked furious, terrified, and completely defeated. "You knew," he said. "From the beginning, you knew." "We suspected," Maria corrected. "But you confirmed it. Hemorrhagic fever causes very specific physiological responses. Your crew was too healthy. Too ready for combat. The moment my doctor scanned them, your deception fell apart." "Clever," the Velek captain admitted. "But it doesn't matter. You've made enemies today, human. The Velek people will not forget this." "Good," Maria said. "I hope they don't. Because I want them to remember something very specific." She leaned forward, her expression hard as steel. "Humans have a concept called the Geneva Convention. Rules of war. Things you don't do, even to enemies. One of those rules is that you never fake medical emergencies. Never pretend to need rescue. Never weaponize mercy." The Velek captain's expression shifted to confusion. "Why would you limit yourselves in war?" "Because," Maria said quietly, "we've learned that some tactics are so destructive to civilization itself that using them guarantees everyone loses. When you fake a plague, when you cry for help you don't need, you make future victims hesitate. You make mercy dangerous. You turn compassion into a weakness." She gestured at the debris field surrounding his ship. "This is what happens when you cross that line. Not because we're cruel. Because we're protecting something more important than one battle. We're protecting the idea that someone in genuine need can still call for help and be believed." The Velek captain was silent, processing this. "I'm going to let you live," Maria continued. "You and your crew. We'll disable your weapons and engines, but we won't destroy you. A rescue ship will find you eventually." "Mercy?" The alien's mandibles clicked in what might have been bitter laughter. "After what we tried to do?" "No," Maria corrected. "Not mercy. A message. You're going to tell every species in this sector what happened here. You're going to tell them that humans protect the concept of rescue. That we take it seriously. That anyone who weaponizes it will face consequences." She stood, preparing to end the transmission. "And you're going to tell them one more thing. Tell them that humans can be compassionate. We can be generous. We can be forgiving. But if you prey on those qualities, if you try to use our humanity against us, you'll discover something much older underneath." "What's that?" "That before we became civilized," Maria said softly, "we were the most successful predators Earth ever produced. And that instinct never really goes away. It just learns to wear a gentler face." 3 weeks later. The Horizon returned to human space as heroes. The story of the Velek deception spread quickly through diplomatic channels. Some species were appalled by the Velek's tactics. Others took note of humanity's response. Maria was summoned to Earth Command for a debriefing. Admiral Zhang, a stern woman with iron-gray hair, reviewed the battle recordings in silence. "You destroyed 12 ships," she said finally. "Killed approximately 2,000 Velek." "Yes, ma'am. The Velek government is demanding reparations. They claim you acted disproportionately to the threat." Maria's jaw tightened. "Ma'am, they faked a plague outbreak. They weaponized distress signals. If we hadn't stopped them—" "I know," Zhang interrupted. "I've read your report. Multiple times." She leaned back in her chair. "The question is whether your response was justified." "Ma'am. Let me finish, Captain." Zhang's expression softened slightly. "I'm not criticizing. I'm explaining what's happening in the diplomatic sphere. The Velek are trying to portray themselves as victims. They're claiming you overreacted to a misunderstanding." "A misunderstanding?" Maria couldn't keep the anger from her voice. "That's their story. And some species are buying it." Zhang pulled up a star map. "But others aren't. The Krell Confederacy has issued a formal statement supporting your actions. The Manarian Republic has denounced the Velek tactic. Even the Galactic Council is quietly pleased, though they won't say so publicly. Why? Because everyone relies on distress signals being genuine. Merchant captains, exploration vessels, colony ships. All of them need to know that when they call for help, they'll be believed. The Velek threatened that entire system. Zhang stood, walking to the window that overlooked Earth below. Captain Santos, I'm not reprimanding you. I'm promoting you. Fleet Captain. And I'm giving you command of a new rapid response squadron. Your mission will be to respond to distress calls throughout human space and beyond. Maria stood straighter. Ma'am? You protected something important, Zhang said. Not just our ship, not just our crew. You protected the idea that mercy isn't weakness. That compassion can coexist with strength. That humans will help those in genuine need, but we won't tolerate those who exploit that willingness. She turned back to Maria. The Velek wanted to weaponize mercy. Instead, they taught the galaxy a lesson: humans will extend a hand to those who need it. But if you bite that hand, you'll discover it can become a fist. And the Velek, ma'am? What happens to them? The surviving crew told exactly the story you wanted. Every species in 3 sectors now knows what happened. The Velek government has issued a formal apology and announced new protocols for distress signals. They've also requested that we not share certain details of their defeat. Which you've refused? Zhang smiled coldly. Which I've shared with every allied species we have. The Velek gambled that human compassion was weakness. They learned otherwise. Now everyone knows. Epilogue, the new protocol. 6 months later, a genuine plague outbreak hit a small colony on the edge of human space. The Sarian people, a peaceful species of methane breathers, sent out a desperate call for medical assistance. The response was immediate. 3 human medical ships arrived within days, bringing supplies, doctors, and equipment. They worked around the clock, adapting their medical knowledge to Sarian physiology. Within 2 weeks, the outbreak was contained. The Sarian governor asked the human commander why they'd responded so quickly, after what the Velek had done. The commander's answer was simple: because you actually needed help. And humans always answered genuine calls for aid. The Velek tried to corrupt that. They failed. This is what it really looks like when humans show mercy. News of the rescue spread as quickly as news of the battle had. 2 stories, 2 responses, both equally human. The galaxy learned something important: humanity would protect mercy with violence if necessary. But genuine suffering would always find human compassion waiting. The Velek had tried to weaponize humanity's best instinct. Instead, they'd proven it was stronger than they'd imagined. Strong enough to defend. Strong enough to punish those who abused it. Strong enough to survive in a galaxy that sometimes mistook kindness for weakness. The galaxy knew now. Humans called it mercy. But when mercy was threatened, humans called it war. And humans were very, very good at war.